Oh no! I don't get it. It's okay. We get it.
I was like, yes, Lord, come on with the cancellations.
Ooh, we going in and now just kidding.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm black. Am I good?
He's with the best of them, and he's one of my favorite men to come emphasize.
that entrance sounds like much more than who I actually am.
My guest of honor is what you would call a woman of substance that wears many hats. She grew up in a single-parent household in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, OakCliff, that's her hood. She graduated from the University of Texas at Arlington with a bachelor's in art. Then she went on to earn a master's degree in educational leadership. She has always said that her mother and grandmother are her heroes, so she got her motherly, nurturing spirit from them both. She's an amazing mother of two beautiful kiddos, and she carries her love into her classroom. She serves as a special education teacher, helping each student feel loved and seen. My guest of honor understands the importance of representation, and she answers the call every day. Today, my guest of honor is Arais Williams. How you doing, sis?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Sunday.
Yes, happy Sunday, because we are recording on Sunday, the Lord's Day. I think it's always good to come do it on a Sunday because you just have good spirits, good
exactly.
Happiness, you know.
The vibes. Yes.
Yes. We don't say that loosely because we're not into the new world stuff. So
okay.
She don't mean good vibes like that. She ain't crystalling it up. She ain't doing all that. We're not doing all that. Okay. We need good
godly
vibes. Yeah, godly, the only God vibes. Okay. That's it. Just so we clear. Okay.
Okay. Very much.
Yeah, that's right. So, but anyway, I always like to start off each podcast by asking the guests to like give us a background like of where they're from and everything like that, because I want people to trace your footsteps in the sand. So tell us about where you're from and a little bit about your background.
Okay. So like you said, OakCliff, that's my hood. So that's where I was pretty much born and raised, like the Holland Hills area. I went through the Wilma Hutchins feeder pattern. So when it was Wilma Hutchins District, so yeah, from Bishop Heights, Kennedy Curry, yeah, in that area. I always went to the Boys and Girls Club. That was big in our area, a big recreation center. But like I said, mainly, like I said, I love OakCliff, but just the environment that I was in, I knew from even as a child, I did not want to be, a product of my environment. I wanted to do better from what I saw.
I'm glad that you wanted to do better from like and not be a product of your environment, because it's easy to fall into that. Like it's so easy to be like, I'm about to go left when I know I'm supposed to go that way. So okay. Would you say that your grandma and your mom had a lot to do with like how you made your decisions?
Very much so. I saw my mom work her butt off. Oh, she worked her butt off. Yeah, and like I said, she's one of my biggest heroes. And my grandmother, she's disabled. But she didn't let that break her spirit. Always present in the household. Even my grandfather, I lost him at the age of 12, but it's like my three biggest, pretty much my motivators. Mm-hmm. Like they really taught me work ethic, cooking, cleaning, just real values that I even carry over today. So
yeah, y'all hear that? She's a wife, okay? She got the qualities of a wife. She was born
for
with
the people in the
back. just letting y'all know, because she, these new people don't know how to do none of that cooking, none of that. And she's smart. Just letting y'all know, she wife material. So come correct. But so I think that it's cool, like that. Growing up in OakCliff, all of the different people that I've seen that come from OakCliff are very proud of where they're from. Like, I mean, rip it real heavy, So, right. Could you tell me, like, being around all those different types of people, what you pulled from the negative environment, though? Because sometimes the negative things that we see can help us to have a positive outcome. So, can you tell me, like, a little bit about what the values that you pulled from your environment?
Mainly, I would say, like I said, I was at the Boys and Girls Club a lot. They did do like character building, and even in the school that I was in, like they really pushed us. I had some awesome educators. Um, I even had a Zayla that was an educator, so they pushed us a lot. Um, like I said, I was in an environment where there was prostitutes, homelessness, drug dealing, drug dealers. You would even hear gunshots. I mean, I'm just being real. You would hear gunshots at night. Um, but again, it motivated me to those positive educators. I would say those educators, and then just my family overall.
Okay, so tell me what got you into wanting to become a teacher because, like I stated earlier, you got your bachelor's degree in art. So we're gonna go back to that, but tell me what made you want to get into education or how that came about.
Ooh, child, I read.
We all do it.
I ran from education because I knew I wasn't gonna make no money. I knew it. Knew it. I knew it. I knew it. And not that I'm super money motivated, but I say the price of peace is priceless.
Yeah.
It's very much priceless. And I know all those job fields that I was in. I didn't enter education until 2019, and I started as a TA in a Dallas school district. So yeah, I just wasn't happy anywhere else. I ended up working for the Boys and Girls Club, like right after I graduated, like 2013. And then I worked there for a year, and I'm just like, ooh, not enough money, Lord. I was happy, but I'm just like, this is not enough money. So to the hospital, I was making more, but still, then I was just, how he makes you uncomfortable. He's like, stop playing. This is where you're not. This
right.
is not where it's supposed to be. So
it's not what I called you.
Right, exactly. He will make you uncomfortable, and I was. Even though I was making a good amount of money, I was just like, not happy. I'm not happy. So yeah. 2019, I was a TA, and then I ended up going to the Autism Treatment Center, where I really, fell in love with that culture because they are so forgotten about. And I was actually working closely with the CPS kids, a lot of the autistic CPS kids, to where I was working in their group homes on the weekend, and I was just like, this is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, and just learning their stories. And I'm like, they really need a advocate. And then one of my cousins, he's autistic, and I kind of saw how the system failed him. And I'm just like, this is where I want to go. This is what I need to be doing.
I love that you answered the call because we all ran at first. Like, everybody ran because we didn't want to do it because we already
paid for it. I paid for it.
Yeah. Moral of the story, people. When God calls you, just say yes.
Okay.
It's just a lot easier.
Because he already know the plans he had for you. Stop playing. He knows. Not to harm you. It's not to harm you. Follow.
Yep.
Follow it.
And he will get you the money soon. He'll get you money in a different way. But yeah.
It will fall in place. Yes.
Yeah. I'm glad that you answered the call though, because I think with the people who are always forgotten and lost, like they need someone to speak up for them as well. Like they need to know that they may have this situation going on, but they're normal too. Like it needs somebody to show them that they're normal and they can do different things if they have, the belief in themselves to do it.
Yes. Yes.
So in your classroom and everything, when it comes to working with these students, you seem like the type of teacher that will love them, but you also don't be playing around with them. So tell me how you run your classroom. Like, what is like your motto when it comes to that?
Oh, I am big on no excuses. No excuses. I am going to treat you as you should be, as you should be treated. You are going to be heard. Even if you're nonverbal, we're going to communicate. And to me, I was known as like a hard teacher because they would say, "Oh, you know what? They're nonverbal," and I'm like, you know what? If they really want something, I promise you, they will communicate with you. But I pushed them because I knew they could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my students were good for it. Once you show me that you can that you can communicate, oh, I'm holding you to that standard. Oh, you're gonna always do that, and I'm going to push you further. I'm going to push you further. So yeah.
You shouldn't have never said nothing because look,
Okay.
now I know. Now I know you can do it.
Exactly. Now I'm more in like I'm more in like an inclusion era. So I go into other people's classrooms and just kind of help the students kind of understand the content. So a lot of them, they feel ashamed. So I'm making them feel included. I'm in a gen ed population right now, so you have to. I guess you kind of have to tiptoe a little bit because they don't really want their friends to know that they have to learn a different way, because that's all I tell them that special education is. It just means you have a specialized way of learning. You shouldn't be ashamed of it. But like I said, a gen ed population, that's a whole different it's a whole different ball game. So yeah, just making them feel comfortable, letting them know that I'm here for you and I want you to be successful.
That's beautiful because a lot of us didn't have that. Or you had that one teacher, it'd be like one that wouldn't let you get away with nothing. you know? Wouldn't let you get away with nothing. So in this like time, I think it's so vital that they have somebody like you that really cares about their well-being and cares about them as a whole person. And so I want to ask you about the state of education and how you feel it's going right now. Like, what do you feel like? How do you feel about what it's looking like as a whole with the state of education? Yeah.
Oh, I am not feeling it right now. That even in special education, that teach to the test concept. I mean, that is horrible. That is horrible. Because a lot of kids I've learned, they have like test anxiety, just like as regular functioning adults, we have test anxiety as well.
Yeah.
I remember taking a couple of my tests twice because I was just like, I was nervous and I wanted to do good, but it was what it was. So yeah, that teaching to the test, and then it's a lot of politics in education, unfortunately. So I truly feel there's not enough checks and balances, and even in special education, there is money, but it's like you have to go on a whole what you call it, sabbatical to find it. Is horrible. It is horrible. So it's like you're constantly looking for resources and you're constantly buying things out of your pocket because you're like, oh, I know my student needs this. I'm good for it. I'm just like, I know my student needs this. I know this will help, and it's a lot of manpower hours in education too. It's very much under very much underappreciated or undervalued, I would say. So,
absolutely, it definitely is, because I feel like if you give someone your child for the majority of the day, don't you want what they receive to be quality, and you want those teachers to feel like their value so that they can trickle down to the child. I just don't understand, like, I don't get it. Make sense. The math ain't mathing in any different in any way. It's just not mathing. But I love the dedication though, because at the end of the day, we've been called to be servant leaders, and we all have our different lanes that we use and that God gave us. So I'm glad that you're dedicated regardless of what the circumstances are, because they need you and God needs you in that space. So I definitely thank you for doing what you do for real. Like, that makes a difference every day. It makes a difference every day.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. But they still need to cut the check though.
Okay. Run all that back.
Run the money. All educators need that check though. Come on now.
Yeah, they just don't know. And you can only, I've learned through my taxes, you can only claim like $250 of educator expenses. There's no way anybody's just spending that least. I know last year alone, I had receipts for at least up to $1,000, and that was the ones that's the ones I could find. Yes, on taxes, that's the most. That is the most.
Wow.
Yes.
What advice would you give someone who wants to get into education? Like, what would you tell them, like, to prepare them for this transition?
Ooh. I would say, especially as far as studying for your certification test, start. I would say at least give yourself three, at least 3 months, because mm, I would say I gave myself maybe a month and a half, and I'm like, man, if I only had maybe that extra month or extra 2 months, I could have really just aced it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and customize your study plan on how you learn. If you're kinesthetic, or if you're visual, make your flashcards. Dance around while you listening to your because they have audio. I mean, YouTube is awesome. They have all type of audio. I would do that because I'm kinesthetic. I would listen to my certification questions via audio. So yeah, definitely give yourself at least, I would say, 3 to 4 months for each test because it's very comprehensive. They'll ask you situational stuff, even though content, especially for special education, you'll get more like scenario situational stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah. And again, those educator expenses. Do your best as a new teacher, because I did not know this until after I was a new teacher. They do have new teacher expenses. They do. They have grants. Um, they have what is that? Where people can sponsor your classroom. I mean, it's opportunities out there. So just do your research before you jump right into teaching, because no matter how much you think you compare, you never know. You never know those unexpected expenses. So
Yeah. Do your research, people.
yes.
Well, for those of you who don't know, I met Arius when we were at UTA. Good old UTA. Everybody that made it through UTA, I feel like you made it through, and you should be
Yeah.
proud of that. But originally, Arius was not going to school to be a teacher, so I want her to tell y'all what the journey. Tell them what the journey was when it came to undergrad, and how you made a few switches and changes. So take them through that process.
Oh yes. I started off as an architecture major. An architecture major. It was going pretty good. I had my first couple of classes. I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. It was more the drawing part though. When it got to that technical and mathing, and I'm like, oh no, I cannot see myself doing it for the rest of my life. Um, I took a summer class right before I switched my major, and it was horrible. Oh, it was horrible. I worked my butt off. I wouldn't sleep for days building these structures, doing these calculations, just to come out with a C. And I'm like, oh no,
Mm-mm.
I will be changing my major for fall. No way. No way I'm going through this. So, like I said, the first couple of classes, I was motivated. I was like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. But again, those first introductory courses is like art. And art is like everything to me. I'm like, okay, I can do this. But when it got to like the technical and calculating and structure, I'm like, oh no, somebody building is gonna be leaning. If I if I pursue this,
Not somebody house gonna be leaning or building gonna be leaning.
oh yes, I'm like, oh, this is not for me. It was not for me. I'm glad I caught it early. I did catch it early, so I'm like, you know what? I love art. Let me just go that route, because I can do multiple things with it. So I'm like, let me just go to the art route.
Yeah.
And I just dived right into that, and just was 3.0, 3.4. I mean, it was just, I'm like, this is for me. This is for me. So that's what I ended up with, my bachelor's of art. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very good about checking myself. I'm like, uh, even though I don't run away from things, I just know my capacity. And I'm just like, This is not for me, and I wasn't going to be happy in it. I had a feeling I just was not going to be happy. Would have made more
Yeah.
money, but overall, to me, it wouldn't have been worth it.
You would have been miserable because money is not. I think that
It's
it's
not
important.
everything.
It's not everything. It's important for us to like share that with these kids coming up because they think that being a 6-figure person, making 6 figures. I'm like, you have to realize that when you make 6 figures from a company, like somebody you work for, they gonna want you to give them 6 figures worth of work too. So they kind of feel like they own you and they pay you 6 figures and you don't even bring home 6 figures. So I think that it's important to listen to that voice inside of you, the Holy Spirit telling you, no, go right, not left. And make sure you choose something that's natural to you that flows because you got to be in that thing every day. So
exactly, you have to show up, especially for 6 figures. You better show up. You better show up.
Yeah. I love that art was the choice though, because I think that is a gift that a lot of people have. They just don't use it. And I think I always tell my students, like, I want you to have an artistic or a creative outlet because it exercises your imagination and that's your problem solver. Like when you stop using the art, it dies. So it's like, how do you keep exercising your imagination muscle and how do you continue to grow it?
Oh, I use art in everything, even in my classroom. We always doing art projects, decorating doors, decorating what do you call it, bulletin boards. I mean, any outlet that I can use, even diving into like personal stuff. Because to me, art is a stress relief. So even painting or drawing or sketching, just constantly, and it really keeps you. To me, I feel like art, it helps expand your growth mindset as well. It keeps you out of that box that a lot of people try to put you in.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is very well said. It keeps you out of the box that they try to put you in because they definitely gonna try it. Definitely try to put you in there. How do you feel about how art is not in the schools as much as possible now? Like, how do you feel about that, and how do you try to incorporate that in your classroom to make it where the kids are exposed to it?
It's very heartbreaking because even a couple of the art teachers that I'm around now, they're only there part time. They have to go like go to multiple schools, and I kind of see it kind of fading out because to them it's not as important. But like I said, they just don't realize even music, painting, sculpture. I mean, that's like I said, that growth mindset is just everything. And even with my kids, even when we have a project, I'm making them use Canva, or even old school. We do markers, crayons. I mean, we're really expressing ourselves. To me, it helps. I feel like it helps.
Do you see your artistic abilities transferred into your children though? Did they get the gene?
Oh, a little bit. I love it.
She said a little bit.
Mostly, I see my youngest because he always ready to paint. My daughter, I would say yes to because she's now starting to get into doing hair, so she's expressing herself that way. So
yeah,
I would say it transferred over a little bit. A different, a different outlet, but it did transfer.
Aries said it's still loading. It's loading.
Right.
It's loading. That's all right though. That's fine. So they'll get there eventually, or they'll figure out something else that works best for them. So we're gonna just let them live. Let them live. I just thought I'd ask because I was like, it's amazing how your genes do gifts kind of transfer. You be like, dang, it's a house full of teachers or a house full of doctors, a house full of artists or whatever. I think that the one thing that will transfer is hard work, working smart, that work ethic and that character that y'all carry, like your whole family carries. So I'm sure that will transfer very easily. Yeah. Well, speaking of family and everything, I think that it's important that like in the past, our ancestors and everybody worked together to like collectively make sure the family was good. And I think that's a lost gift or a lost skill, because now everybody's so separate and they
Right.
think that they need to be individualized when really we need community and we need each other. So
Right.
I love
Right.
the fact that you and your family are, collected. Y'all are collective. So can you tell me a little
Yes.
bit about your relationship and how you and your mom have collectively come together to create this asset that you got, or buy an asset, I should say?
Yeah, so in July, me and my mom decided to buy a house. She was coming out of a ugly divorce, and I was moving. I wanted to move back home because that's just me. I want to stay close to my roots, my
Mhm.
grandmother, my mother. So I'm like, you know what, mom, let's get a house. We need. I just wanted. I wanted to kind of move out the apartment era only because the apartments are great because that maintenance is awesome. You don't have to worry about maintenance. When you switch over to that home realm, you'll find out. Oh, your sink broke. Oh, you fix it. You don't get to call. You don't get to call anybody else.
Be like,
Uh,
help, help.
okay, landscaping. That's on you. That is on you. So I'm not knocking apartments at all. I was in a they were amazing. So yeah. But I just felt like, I was at a point in my life and I'm like, you know what, I want my kids, to have their own separate rooms. I want them to have something to go home to, and I just felt like the timing was right. We went through a lot because they dig through your finances. They want to know, oh, why are you moving this money here? Where does this account go to? I mean, they will send you through the trenches, which is understandable because they want to test your test your integrity. They want to make sure you can afford this house.
Yeah,
So I totally get it. So the alignment, it just aligned. It just aligned, and here we are.
it was
Here we
time.
are.
It was
Yeah,
time. Well,
yeah.
I'm glad that y'all purchased a home versus renting one. And the reason why I say that is because your household is a multi-generational household.
Hmm.
Your kids now know that it's possible, and
Right.
y'all have like really the representation is real. They know that they can purchase a home at some point, and they understand the importance of family because they're
Mhm.
surrounded by family. So, can you talk about how being in that multi-generational home and how it's impacting them? Like, have you seen any changes in them?
Oh, they love it. They love it. We're still working on that cleaning up, but they love it. They absolutely love it. Like I said, my daughter, she loves having her own space. My son, they love having their own space. And my daughter even reminded me something. She was just like, "Mama, this is the first summer where we don't have to move." And I'm like, "You
Wow.
are so right. You are so right.
Wow.
Get to we are moved in. We're not moving to multiple places." So to me,
That's
that was
beautiful.
that was everything. That was everything
And
to me.
do they bust up in their granny room all the time? Do they try
Oh yeah,
to?
oh yeah. As soon as I got here, I'm like, "Oh, Mama, we have to get like lots." So
Yeah.
we have to get
No, seriously though.
Oh yeah,
Does
they
it?
love it, but it's amazing. They can go uh to their grandmother's room, like down the corridor, so they love it. Instead of
Yeah.
Tom and Gigi is right down the hallway. So
Yeah.
mhm.
That's amazing. Yeah. So they're gonna get everything that you got from her times 10 because
Oh yes,
grandparents are different when they become
right.
grandparents. Like I'd be like, who is this woman?
Okay,
Because that is not how my mama was when I was a kid.
I get my mama all the time.
I'd be like, hold on, who was that? That-
Okay, okay. Where is the mother from 1988?
I be
Where
trying to
were
find her.
you?
I be trying to find her because I be like,
Yeah, she's a little bit more lenient with them. I said,
a
I
little
see.
bit.
I see. I see.
It's very interesting how they just how yeah they different.
You know it. You know it.
As a
You know
grandparent, they are different.
they are. They are.
But I'm glad that they have that access to her though, because that's gonna be something that they value and use later on in life. Because the wisdom they're getting from you, your grandma, and their grandma is like
Right.
priceless. It's amazing to have that. So any of you out there that think that you want to purchase a home, or you want to be around your family, don't be afraid to like incorporate the whole family. There's no shame in being around your family and collectively working together to build something.
Right.
Aries doing it, So I'm just saying, it's an amazing thing to see. So I'm very excited for y'all.
Well,
Very,
thanks.
very excited. Tell me, how's it been being a mother though? How's it been taking care of those little crazy kiddos?
Woo! Single motherhood is not for the weak. I can't tell you, but I love it though. They are my motivators. Like, it really hits different when someone is counting on you. Like, you have to. It really helps you to push through. Like, you have to. Even on the days I'm like, I'm not feeling it today. I have to be careful of how I speak because I'm saying I don't feel like going to work. Then my son, I don't feel like going to school. So I'm just like, no, we have to push through. We have to do it.
We all gotta go.
We have to do it. So it makes me very conscious of, what I say and also my actions. And also the people that I have them around. I'm not gonna say I'm overprotective, but I'm very protective about, their peace. If I can avoid toxicity, I can. I mean, I just I just want them to have, you know, a good life. I'm gonna put it like that.
Yeah.
Or try to set them up the best way I can. So I already have them like on my credit cards, savings accounts, because when you don't know, now that you know, you do better. You do
That's right.
better. You do better. I want y'all when y'all are 18, y'all are set up. You already have that loan credit history. You already have, something to work with, whether you decide to go to college, trade school, military. You have some type of foundation. So
Absolutely. Let me tell y'all something. Aries is very good with her finances. Even in college, like she was very much so like budgeting, taking care of her business. And I think that that's important. Like it's not about how much money you make; it's about how much you keep. So
exactly.
the fact that you already have your kids on the cards, you already have them set up in that way, is so vital because we as Black people don't get that. Like
Right.
we start from 10,000 steps backwards, and so we have to work our way back 10 times harder. So I love that they're getting set up. Can you tell everybody why you did that? Like, just break it down a little bit more, because some people may not be aware of why you would put somebody on their card or make your kids an authorized user on your cards.
Just to build their credit history, because what I've learned about credit, and like I said, I've kind of had to work backwards. They look at your utilization, they look at your credit history. It all determines like your worthiness. Um, so like I said, I know I added my daughter when she was 6, and I just added Aiden. He's 8 now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when they're 18. Aiden has what, at least 10 years of credit worthiness. And again, it helps keeps me in check too, because I'm like, I can't be overdrawn on my card because like you overdrawn on your card. So it just helps me, just that accountability.
Yeah.
That's really what credit is. They just want to see, can you handle that amount? Will you splurge? Will you go past your spending limit? And that really helps with getting a house or anything finance, any asset wise that you're trying to gain. Car, house, even apartments. They will check your history. They're not just looking for if you got evicted. They want to know, can you pay your bills? Seriously. Can you pay them? So
are you paying your bills?
Okay.
Don't get bills you
Are
can't
you in
pay.
default? Are you in default? They want to know.
For real though. Nah, that's good though. Like I'm glad that you made you put an emphasis on the accountability portion, because it kind of messes up the whole plan if you're not paying your bills. Like you
Exactly.
messing up your kids' credit before they even have credit. So I'm glad that you made that point and put an emphasis on you have to handle your business and maintain these things and make them make sure they're in good standing so that these kids can benefit from your actions. So that's a beautiful thing. I'm very glad to hear that. So if you have children, go ahead and set them up, y'all. Set them up.
Yes.
Don't be like us, 80s babies. We ain't having no choice.
Okay. For real.
We got it together now, though. We got it together now, though. Yeah.
Right.
We didn't know. And also credit is so foreign. Like when it comes to our households, like that's not something that we think about. We've always had to operate off of cash. So it's like we work, we get it, and we pay. You know what I'm saying? So changing the mindset around money and teaching, that different mindset about money is going to be vital to our youth because they're going to have more opportunities to make way more money than we could ever imagine. So how are you teaching them about money or building a relationship with money since you are already putting them in place or in position?
Definitely financial literacy. I'm working on them with trying to budget and even, giving them so much of an allowance. I'm letting them know you don't have to spend down to your last dime. Let's get out of that, generational curse of paycheck to paycheck. Because I really feel like it starts young. And I'm like, we don't want to follow that along. So
no,
just teaching them, even when we go to the grocery store, you don't have to have the top. You can get generic. It's okay. It is okay. So
it's
yeah,
Black Label anyway.
Okay, seriously. So they'll see me write lists or they'll see me budget out, what I'm paying for the month and how much money I have left over and, paying your tithes, paying yourself, just the important things.
Yeah. I say the best way to love your kids is to show them you loving yourself, like the self-love that you give yourself.
Right.
So taking them through the process and making them a part of the process is so important. So I love that you're doing that already because they need to see.
Right.
A lot of parents hide the stuff from their kids. At this time, you can't do that anymore. You have to show these kids and tell them why.
Exactly. If you don't teach them, their friends will. You better teach them.
Or the world will.
Very much so.
Because being in higher education, I always say, man, I have to stay prayed up and I have to make sure I'm getting my cues from God because there's a lot of conversations that I shouldn't have to have. Like, I shouldn't have to have some of these conversations, but I'm okay with doing it. But I think it is very interesting that the parents are not having these conversations.
Right.
And I'm talking about all kind of conversations.
Oh, no.
But I'm glad that it's coming to my doorstep because at the end of the day, like, I feel like God puts us in positions just like you. He puts you in position. We may not always like the circumstances we have to deal with, but the purpose behind it is what gives us that peace. And we know we're operating in his gifting. We're operating in our fullness and authority.
Yeah.
It's worth it because it's like, what else I'm gonna do? I got to do it God's way.
Okay. It's worthwhile. When I get to those gates, Jesus, you know me. I've been doing your work.
I know you and you know me.
Okay, we locked in.
We here. So since we're talking about sweet baby Jesus, tell me how your relationship is with God and like what role does he play in your life?
Oh, major. I've learned to, how they say, lean not to your own understanding. I consult him for everything. And I've always grew up in the church, but it's really in my adult life. I've just really learned you have to consult him and you have to be patient. You have to wait. Like that Jeremiah 29:11, it just resonates with me. Because even though I might not know what he has planned for me, I have to just bank on that whatever it is for his good. Whatever it is, it's going to turn out good for me. Whatever it is, even though it might not look like it, it might take me the long way around, but it will be for my good. So It
Yeah.
just helps. It just helps. I just have like my daily meditating with him because again, I have to consult for everything. I've just learned that, and just be patient. Wait, just wait for the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for the answer because I promise you, every time I try to operate my own, it's just a a crash and burn. It is a crash
Yeah.
and burn, and God is like, "You gonna learn. You gonna learn.
It's
You
not
gonna
worth it.
learn.
It's
You
not
gonna
worth
learn."
it. We only do that when we're trying to speed up the process, but the
Exactly.
process is what
Yeah.
we need to be ready for. We don't
Right.
know what God doing. It's like
Okay.
he be sprinkling little things, you get a little glimpse of different you get a little glimpse of different things and you just like, okay, I want that now. But that
Right.
process is cultivating you and it's like, yeah, that hurry up and wait mentality has to cease.
Right.
You just gotta wait and wait
I,
well.
right. I call it my character building season because whatever it is, you're building me for something greater. That's how I push through my trials. Character building season. Character building
Mhm.
season. That's just what it is.
Me and Aries always say that. We be like, we got great character now, Jesus. We good.
Okay. Hey, it's my turn. It's my turn now.
But nah, we just be joking though. But yeah, I think that it's good though that you're willing to stick to the plan because at the end of the day, he did create us. He knew exactly what we were gonna be and what he wanted us to do, and he created us and gave us to our parents. So
Right.
um
Right.
whenever we get a little like I guess out of line or we feel like we want to jump ship or something, I think it's important to think about the track record and everything he brought us through because we've been through a lot together. I'm sure
Yes.
we both been through a lot individually too, but
Right.
just God always supplies what you need in the right timing. So
I
and he
agree.
definitely supplied you. We needed each other at the time that we met each other. So
Right. Very much so.
just to let y'all know we're a package deal.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's a done deal,
Always.
guys.
Always.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: if money wasn't a problem, if that wasn't a barrier, I like to say that the starting line is the sky. The sky is the starting line. What
Mhm.
would the dream be if there was no barriers?
Oh man. Definitely multiple multiple day have facilities. Um, especially for special education
Mm-hmm.
children. They do age out of the system. And then when I started working like on transition and vocational, I learned to even get into a day have, it was an 18-year waiting list.
Wow.
You're having to put your child that doesn't even know what's even going on in the world yet. You're having to put them on a waiting list that may or may not come through. It's because it's not enough. So I would just put multiple multiple around the world because these these kids really have nowhere to go. They do. They don't have anywhere to go.
That's horrible.
I've seen it. They fill up CPS homes and even NASA wait lists. It's like a 20-year wait list.
Wow.
It's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking.
That's horrible.
So yeah, if I could get at least a few on this earth before I leave this world, that would be great. That would be great.
You know why I asked that question?
Mhm.
Because I want it to be documented when it happens. That's why I
There
ask
you
every.
go.
I know
There
I'm
you
serious.
go.
I ask every guest. To honor that because I just feel like we know what the goal is. Like we kind of God already showed us. It's just that
Right.
we be like, okay, but how we gonna do that? Because
Yeah.
I'm looking at these bills and I'm looking at this account. Like
Okay.
you know what I'm saying. But I just like to have it documented and have you verbalize it so that your expression is recorded, like how
Right.
your passion came through, and on top of that, just saying it out loud gives it life. So
Right.
I think that that is an amazing thing that you want to do, and the fact that it's about other people shows me where your heart posture is. It's not even about you. It's not even about you. So
Right.
it's good. I'm so happy. I'm proud of you, man. I'm so proud.
Oh, thank you. Thank
So proud of you, for real. But I think that I got one more question for you.
Mhm.
If you knew then what you know now, would you do anything different?
Ooh, child.
She said, "Ooh, child."
I would definitely see. I was hard headed in college too. For some reason, I knew that I was going to end up going into education. I probably would have went ahead. It just went straight into education. Um, I would have. I would have. I would have just went straight into education.
Yeah.
You know, everything else, I feel like I've kind of learned my way around, but just that foundation, I would have wanted to build a stronger foundation. So
Okay. Well, that's all right. You there now, and
yeah,
you're gonna keep building, and you have your master's degree in educational leadership as well. So, I mean, you set for education. You just got to keep moving. Got to keep going.
yeah, very true. Yeah.
So, well, I appreciate you, sis. Thank you so much for coming on. And I'm sure that anybody that wants to get into education or just wants to learn about the perspective from a parent's point of view will be able to like grasp something from your interview, like the value from your interview. So I really do appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you being invited. Like I said, you're doing awesome work, the Lord's work, and I pray for you all the time. I just know you're going to be prosperous. You'll be amazing.